What's going on? It's Dapper Don, and I am excited to welcome you all back. So, we've been on some kind of a serious tip these last couple of weeks, and I figured, we need a break. We need to flex our comedy muscle a little bit. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to be talking about societal norms that we pretend to like. And then we're going to be taking a look at the subreddit r/am I the asshole, where we'll take delight in judging people for our own amusement. So today's going to be a pretty fun day. So why don't we just go ahead and dive in? The first thing we're going to take a look at is the things that we, as society, has pretended to like. Because I'll let you know right now, being normal seems like it's a drag. Like from an outside perspective looking in, it seems like it's a drag. It seems like it's just a lot of people pretending to like things they don't actually like. It's a lot of people just pretending to go along with things that they don't actually want to go along with. And I don't understand why people put up with it. This is an article from Upworthy. People are getting honest about the 15 activities that people only pretend to like. This article was written May 22nd of 2024 by Todd Perry. Recently, there was a great conversation on Reddit that falls under the categories of things people think but never say out loud. The question, posed by a user named Truth and Logic, was, what's an activity you are sure that most people only pretend they like? The prompt inspired people to share and discuss the social engagements we are forced to attend to get ahead in our careers, keep our families happy, or be polite, but we don't really enjoy. For many, the thread was cathartic by creating an honest and funny discussion about the moments when we often suffer in silence. The conversation also delved into activities that many of us engage in to present a certain image, such as posting on social media, networking, or publicly embracing hustle culture. These activities, often driven by pressure from others, can feel cringy because they give off a look at me vibe. Here are 15 activities that, according to the people in the Ask Reddit forum, people only pretend to like. Number 1! LinkedIn. I am thrilled to announce that I am better than you, is the quote at the top. It's a humble bragging contest, is the second quote. Yeah, I don't see the point for LinkedIn. I'm gonna be real honest. What? So it's Facebook, but for your resume. It's Facebook, but you get to pretend that you're better than someone. Nobody ever actually connects, right? Nobody ever actually, from what I understand, nobody ever actually has meaningful conversations on LinkedIn. And oftentimes you get job scams coming from LinkedIn. It's just a place where people can post their resume to just show just how much they're better at life they're doing than you are. There's really no point in going on LinkedIn unless you want to be jealous that the person that bullied you in high school is now working as a pharmacy tech or something. I don't know. I mean, it is pretty cathartic to see some of those people working for like snake oil companies, but other than that, there's really nothing to LinkedIn. I don't see the point. Number 2, hanging out with the parents of your child's friend. I don't have any children. I don't know, exactly what that's like. So we're just going to move on. 3, the happy birthday song at a restaurant. Oh yeah, because somebody who clearly hates their job is going to love singing happy birthday to your little spoiled puke. Yeah, that person that's getting paid minimum wage and barely wants to serve you definitely wants to sing off-key awkwardly at you. That's definitely something they want to do. Yep, definitely. 4, networking. The quote here it's the second quote on this. It says, some people absolutely do enjoy networking. It is a shame because these people are often the ones that tend to be just okay or worse at their jobs, while those who are great at their jobs tend to be the ones who dislike networking. This is kind of going into that context of like, when we're at work, we're at work. I am not your fucking friend. I do not want to be your fucking friend. Why do I have to network? What is the benefit of talking to people who are richer and doing better than me when I'm just here to do my job? I'm doing the job that pays me enough to get where I'm getting. If I don't want that job, I can apply for another. I do not need to talk to a whole bunch of people and be this super social fucking, oh, I've got all the connections. No. And I remember the jobs, quote unquote, that put specific emphasis on this are those weird, like, they call them direct marketing jobs, but you're basically like either going door to door in a neighborhood that doesn't like you, or you're like standing at a booth in the middle of a major retailer selling like cell phones, internet, and other useless products to people who don't want them and who will actively insult you for trying to scam them into selling them. I worked one of these jobs. And in addition to the standing for 8 hours a day that they demand you do, from can't see morning to can't see night, there's also this aspect of you have to network, quote unquote, with people who are doing better than you, representatives who have made the charts, the sales representatives who have made the charts, people who have like they've hit the top. You have the CEOs, the presidents, the bosses. You have to network with these people, and oftentimes they're pretentious, they're uninteresting, and they're just it's a cult of personality. So you're not getting anything out of it. It's just you're talking to people who they think are doing better than you in hopes that you may possibly emulate them. Of course, if you're already clocked out in the first place, the chances of you going all in like these people have is 0 to none. So it's like I don't see the point in networking, if I'm being honest. Hustle culture. The quote here says, hustle culture was just a way for mid-range CEOs of mid-range firms to bleed every ounce of work out of each worker so the VC money sees profit sooner. Basically, hustle culture is anybody is like, I'm not here for fun. I'm here to seize the opportunity. I'm here to get that paper, here to get that money. Excuse me. Here to get that dollar bill, right? You may hear people say, fuck bitches, get paper, that type of thing. Yeah, that's stupid. Okay? And that's so stupid. Because, okay, so you're going to overwork yourself for what reason? For what reason are you just going to overwork yourself if you don't have to? And also, why is money the main bragging point? Do you not have anything else to brag about? Why is what I'm putting in all this work and I'm working and I'm grinding, I'm grinding, I'm grinding? It's like, do you not have anything else to talk about? Oftentimes, people who embrace hustle culture, they're boring. I know someone who works 24/7, constantly working, has nothing to talk about except complaints about their work and school. And it's boring. You get tired of listening to it. Number 6, commuting. So many of my coworkers talked about missing their commute during lockdown, and I wanted to tell them, no, you miss having alone time. Yeah, that's just I mean, commuting to work is about the only alone time you get early in the morning when you're going to work. And it's about it just nobody really, like, personally, there's arguments going around that say that the commute time to work should be paid because you're going nowhere else but work. Your primary motivation is getting to work, right? And you're not like that should be on company time because I'm not waking up and going somewhere else and then work. No, I'm going straight to work. So that's if that gives you an idea of how people actually like that. I don't have any experience with kids' birthday parties. I don't go to work parties, so I wouldn't know. Wine tasting, never been. Gender reveal parties, never been. Some of this stuff I haven't experienced. I'm just going to skip right over. Social media. Social media, well, the quote here says, having a huge social media presence, it doesn't seem worth all the work and effort to keep with it. I'd rather just enjoy my concert, vacation, whatever, than constantly take pictures, videos of it in order to brag about it on social media. And unless you're some big celebrity or influencer, nobody actually cares about your Instagram. Hey, I'm fully willing to acknowledge that. I'm full well willing to acknowledge that anything I post, there's a possibility that no one gives a shit about it. That's why I kind of have to take a balance of I'm going to enjoy this moment, but I'm also going to capture it for posterity. I'm not going to brag about it though. I'm just gonna post it. I mean, if you've ever seen my post, it's all goofy shit. I don't care about flexing on social media. If it's like I'll post what I got going on as far as this show and shit goes, but as far as flexing, no, I have no interest. Cruises, never been on one. Twitter is a site full of cancer. Nobody likes Twitter. Nobody does. The only people that like Twitter are people that either lean far left or far right or NSFW artists. I cannot, for the life of me, foresee any normal person going on Twitter or X, as it's stupidly called now, and just like, just being there and liking any of the discourse that happens. I cannot see a normal person doing that. Not somebody who's not making money off of it, and not somebody who's not crazy. I can't see it. I don't know what the fuck a drinking IPAs are. And yeah, that's the end of the Upworthy article. Half of those things were not things that normal people do. Well, I say normal. Your average person. There's no such thing as normal. Your average person. Half of those things are not things that your average person does. But luckily, I've got other articles here who may be a little bit more relatable. This is a Newsweek article. Hopefully, there's some stuff on here that people actually do instead of just say that they do. The internet convinced people to pretend to enjoy these social norms. Published last year, August 9th, 11:52 a.m. by Lucy Notarantonio. Wait, what the fuck? Lucy Notarantonio. Oh, Jesus Christ. These fucking names. Ugh. Article. A Reddit post asking users a simple yet provocative question. What is something you are convinced that people only pretend to enjoy has received massive response, highlighting a shared skepticism toward many aspects of modern life. Within just 24 hours, the Thursday post had 12,000 upvotes and over 16,000 comments, reflecting widespread discontent with certain cultural norms and activities that many feel pressure to participate in. This post, shared by user Burnt Tortilla 33 on the popular subreddit r/AskReddit, became a way for users to vent about various aspects of life they suspect others only feign enthusiasm for. One of the most upvoted responses came from one user, Rebellious Trace, who wrote just LinkedIn. That response got 37,000 upvotes. The comment ignited a debate about the perceived artificiality of corporate culture. One user commented, "Almost everything about corporate culture is cringe." And personally, I agree with that. It's literally just, gotta save face, guys. Gotta put on a smile. Friendly service with a smile. Gotta sell this and gotta be happy about the fact that you're standing 8 hours a day and getting paid like fucking $11 an hour. Back to the article. Another compared LinkedIn to Instagram, writing, "I honestly feel like LinkedIn is to careers what Instagram is to physical appearance and social status. Just an artificially positive representation that doesn't reflect actual humans." Newsweek discussed the post with psychotherapist Alex Iga Golubek, who explained why people may dislike the employment platform. She said they may not be sure how to best use it or because they harbor fears about having to list their qualifications or work experience to the outside world and receive judgment about them. She added that LinkedIn focuses on achievement rather than a more complete representation of a human. Therefore, it might limit connection, which can be more possible using alternative social media platforms. This disdain for corporate culture and social expectations was echoed through the thread, with many users expressing frustration with the pressures of maintaining appearances with both professional and personal life. A recurring theme involved work-related interactions, with user Mediocre Can 2701 lamenting, listening to people at work describing their weekends, especially on a Monday. Okay. Oh my God, can I tell you about how boring the people you work with can pretend to be just so that they don't have to talk long. "Oh, I didn't do anything over my weekend. I just relaxed." And everybody's guilty of it. But it's like nobody ever does anything interesting on the weekend. Nobody ever goes out. Nobody ever has hobbies. Nobody ever does anything except work. It's like these people you think they're NPCs. You'd think they're NPCs. Similarly, user LEI Popos STONNET took issue with social obligations, commenting, having busy social lives with always having shit to do, attend to, etc., etc. You wouldn't believe the amount of people I've literally heard, well, I got this meeting, I got to do this, then I got to rush here, and then I got to do this, then I got to do this. Then they have the nerve to complain about being so busy when half of those responsibilities are things they're choosing to take on. I once talked to somebody who said they had no pressure to continue to be as busy as they are. They just want to be. They just want to be. That's what they want to do. And in my mind, I was like, you stupid motherfucker. You absolute dumb motherfucker. So you want to be more obligated to everybody else than yourself and then to have enjoying the life that God gave you. You stupid motherfucker. All that comes off to me is just a bunch of stupid motherfuckers. Because I'm busy. You can't just get a hold of me. But I try to have at least 1 or 2 days a week where I'm just not dealing with nobody. So I don't understand that. Golobeck, the owner of Ego Therapy in Stratford upon Avon, England, explained why people may do something they don't enjoy. We are more likely to do this if we perceive that others have a higher social status, appear more desirable, have more value, or we simply are not certain of the validity of our own opinion. Surrounded by fearful headlines and a lack of time to invest in our own research or critical thought process, we are more likely to succumb to what is presented to us and accept it as truth. I don't give a shit about no headlines. I don't give a shit about no articles. I don't give a shit what these fear-mongering motherfuckers say. If something that you're doing is taking away from you just being a human, then you are not living. I don't care what articles say about, well, being busy makes you more attractive. Having money makes you more attractive. Having this, you got to do this, you got to be this, you got to act this. Is like people all over the world are going to have all types of opinions about what should be participated in, how you should act. If you're a human and you have instincts and you have feelings and emotions, you obviously are not going to align with all of them, and you don't need to force yourself to. Saying that you're busy may sound like a brag, but it's not. Essentially, what you're saying is that all social opportunities, all opportunities to enjoy the life that I've been giving, I am willingly shutting out for the sake of a status symbol. Which, if that's how you want to live, more power to you. But enjoy the lonely, lonely life that you lead. She went on. Pretending to like kale or jogging could stem from our need to project an image of ourselves as healthy and acceptable to others. The same peer pressure can be seen in the opposite direction of trends. In the 1990s, it was fashionable to smoke tobacco, which resulted in people taking up the habit to fit in too. Which was stupid because tobacco is, poison. But yeah, sure, fit in, take in the poison. Yeah. Another common target of critique was excessive drinking. As user Arnie520 wrote, getting blackout drunk. I understand getting fun drunk because it's actually fun, but blackout drunk? Why? What's the point? Oh yeah, just being a corpse that somebody has to take care of because you're too inebriated to even walk right. Yeah, that's fun. That's fun. Not being able to be responsible and somebody having to basically be your carer, or if you're blackout drunk, just walking on the street, having to avoid getting the cops called on you. Yeah, that's fun. That's a real fun night out. The comment highlights a growing trend of embracing an alcohol-free lifestyle, referred to as sober curious. What the fuck? God, I'm sick of these goddamn terms for everything. Not talking to somebody's referred to as no contact. You got this referred to as sober curious. How about we're just not drinking? How about I don't talk to this person anymore? Like, ever since fucking, like, bi-curious or whatever came out, people have just been, these terms. Parenting and family life were also scrutinized. One user, Lepopostonet, bluntly said, raising children, nothing about it looks enjoyable, a sentiment that resonated with others who mentioned the strain and stress of parenting. This was reinforced by user to be frank _UK, who wrote children's birthday parties along with pictures of other people's kids as events and activities people might secretly dread. So, I'm going to ruffle some feathers here when I say this. But if you're one of those people who parenting is your whole lifestyle, I'm gonna be honest. I don't give a fuck about your kids. What's your personality, friend? I don't give a fuck about your kids. I don't want to see pictures of your kids. I don't want to see videos of your kids. I don't want to attend their stupid little birthday parties. I don't give a fuck about your kids. I'm talking to you, brother. I'm talking to you, brother. I don't give a fuck about your kids. I don't. I'm sorry. Fuck them kids. I don't care. So yeah, that is all that this article has to offer. And I think there's a third one we're going to take a look at. And I think this might be the asked Reddit thread in question. And, well, it might be one of them. But yeah, I'm just going to read off a few of these and kind of react to them, give my own opinion. What do you convince people are pretending to enjoy? r/Ask Reddit by Andy Bales. This was 2 years ago. This was 2 years ago. 2 years ago. Reaction videos. Why would somebody care how a stranger reacts to something? Most of the time, the reaction isn't even real and just played up for the camera. A lot of the time, it's just somebody sitting there slack-jawed, watching the video, being like, "Oh, can you believe that? Oh my god! Oh my god!" Somebody gets punched in the face. He just punched that guy in the face. Yeah, real intelligent, smart-ass content. And I'm sorry, I don't even like those videos where somebody's reviewing a show and they're just telling you the story of the show and barely giving their opinion on it. I can't stand stuff like that. It's like, I can go see the show if I want to see the show. Tell me your opinion on the show. Don't just... So the story starts off with this, like, I don't need to know that. Give a brief summary of the movie in the beginning and then backload it with opinions. That's how a review should be done. 3-hour-long church services. Jesus gave the Sermon on the Mount in like 5 minutes. Get over your ego, pastor. Black church services are very, very guilty of this. I don't give a fuck how much spirit you catch. If I can't leave while you're catching that spirit and making the sermon go on for an extra 2 hours, you fuck off. Fuck off. Okay? I don't give a fuck about your goddamn church service. I don't. Because it's just one man teaching something that comes from something far more powerful. I don't give a fuck about you, catch. I don't want to sit there and look at you for 3 hours. The fuck? I barely want to look at the person I'm sitting next to, and that could be my family. And you're sitting up here. I don't give a shit. All right, Jesus kept it short. If Jesus kept it short, what makes you think you're special? Let's see here. Having constant drama at work and friend groups and elsewhere really can't be all that exciting, can it? If I have one friend causing me too much drama, I usually avoid it like it's the plague. Some people like drama, though. Some people like having something to complain about. Some people like having something to fuss about. Me? I'm at this point now where if somebody causes me strain, drama, or even if they're not putting in for the friendship as much as they should, they're gone. I've had to cut off many different people. And yes, I go through my friends list and unfriend people. I go through my Instagram list and unfollow people and remove them as followers. I do that. That is something that I do frequently. I go through Snapchat and unadd people because I'm not about to be involved in drama and I'm not about to be involved in people not putting in for the friendship, one-sided friendship, people only hitting me up when they want something, or people lurking just to wait for me to fuck up so that they have something to start drama about. No. Bars and restaurants with loud music and terrible acoustics. What's the point in being social in a place where they're constantly trying to make it hard for you to socialize? Oh my God, you wouldn't believe the amount of bars I've been to where they're just bumping the lamest music. Full blast, and expecting people to talk and mingle. Clubs do that shit too. They're just bumping the worst fucking and you're just sitting there like, the only thing you can do is dance. And if you want to talk to somebody, you have to basically scream at them because they're not going to hear you otherwise. Now, here's a response to this. Someone explained this once and it made a lot of sense, so I'm going to try, but it'll most likely be shitty. Loud music fills in awkward silences and covers up social faux pas in an environment where mixing and mingling is encouraged. It helps facilitate you hooking up with Jenny because she doesn't realize you're a terrible conversationalist since the music covers it up. How about don't try to hook up with Jenny? How about don't try to hook up with Jenny? Leave Jenny alone. I get sick of hookup culture too. Stop trying to hook up with people. That's what's making people more wary of other people. Stop. It's making people who just want to make friends feel like they have to really, really be careful because somebody else just tried to hook up with Jenny. And now you want to make friends with Jenny. You don't even want to hook up with Jenny. You just want to make friends because she seems like good people. And you can't even do that because somebody tried to fuck her before, so she's wary now. It's like, that's annoying too. Like, just stop. So, those are those articles. I don't know if that was funny all the way. Gonna be honest, I'm just kind of winging it here. But I mean, you kind of get the idea of things that we only really pretend to like, and it's like, nobody actually likes these things. People hate these things. Societal normality has taught us that we need to like these things, but nobody likes these things. And the minute we stop pretending we do, we'll probably be liberated of them, if I'm being completely honest. So, you know. But now we're going to move on to something that could be a little bit more comedic. We're going over to Reddit. r/am I the asshole? This is the part where we're gonna be judging people just a little bit more here, you know, because that's what we do for our entertainment. So, but first, there was a strange article that I found on r/today I fucked up, which was linked from r/am I the asshole, that I kind of want to take a look at because it kind of perplexed me a little bit. Shit, it's gonna make me view it in the app, isn't it? Ugh. Okay, 1 second here. And I'm back. After going through like 5011 content warnings, I had to cut out there because it was gonna make me download the app, and then I had to log in. It was doing too much. But anyways, today I fucked up by admitting to my girlfriend that I pretend she's a giant cockroach when we have sex. Oh. Oh. I had read the title before I picked it, obviously, but reading it again, I'm gonna just go over it again. Today I fucked up by admitting to my girlfriend that I pretend she is a giant cockroach when we have sex. Oh boy. I just really want you all to absorb the pain. All right. Well, we got to read it. I mean, we don't have to read it, but I want to because it's painful. Ever since I was a teenager, I have had very intense fantasies about having sex with a giant roach. Oh, 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 It started in 9th or 10th grade when we read The Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka. That book was about being isolated socially and not being able to fit back into society. And I guess he took an attraction from cockroaches from it. That's wonderful. That's great. That's definitely, if we could just drop like a strategic nuke on a certain part. And never mind. As I started to think more and more about the roach creature that the character had become, I started to imagine what it would be like if a woman turned into the roach instead. I found this idea very arousing. I would not be repulsed or frightened of her as the characters in the story are. I would take care of her. Then my thoughts started to get sexual with the character. Eventually, I sort of dropped the bit about her having been a human woman first, and I kind of imagined this fictionalized roach species. They are giant roaches the size of a person and have complete intelligence. I kind of over time conjured up an imaginary friend of sorts. She was one of these roaches and her name was Agtha. Her name is Ogtha. That's the name you chose for your... I would fantasize about her often. Whenever I masturbated, I'd be imagining elaborate scenarios of me and Ogtha making love. Oh, God. When I started to have actual sex, I found that I could not perform if I wasn't thinking of Ogtha. So basically now, anytime I have sex with a woman, I am pretending that she is actually Ogtha. Not just thinking about Ogtha, I concentrate intently to visualize that I am actually doing Ogtha. I don't want to think about the girl at all. There is only Ogtha, the giant cockroach. Of course, this sex can never be as exciting as my fully imaginary sessions with Ogtha. There are things that her multiple appendages and antennae allow for that a human woman can never match. Oh boy. Mm, I didn't read this story. I'm kind of going in blind. So, forgive me. Do I do I want to finish this? Is this something that I want to finish? Is this really what people took from Franz Kafka's Metamorphosis? Is this really what people took from that? Yeah, boy. So, anyways, I've been in a relationship with my girlfriend for about a year. 3 or 4 times I've tried to have sex with her and not pretend she's Agtha, but I just can't do it. So essentially, every time we have sex, I'm imagining she is Agtha. I finally confided this to her the other day, and I was blown away by her reaction. I thought she might take it a bit badly at first, but that she'd get used to it. In what world did you think a human would be used to this? In what world did you think a human was just going to be like, oh, well, every time we have sex, he imagines me as a giant fucking bug? I just, I just, I don't know. I don't know. Well, fellas, if you're ever wondering if you're worthy enough for a girlfriend, just remember that this guy has fucked. If you're ever feeling like you're not worthy of your partner or that you're not worthy of getting a partner, remember that the guy that imagines people as giant cockroaches whenever he has sex has fucked 3 or 4 times with his girlfriend, according to this story. I finally confided to her the other day, the cockroach fantasies, and I was blown away by her reaction. I thought she might. Oh, I already read this. Hold on. Let me skip ahead. No, I've never seen such a look of disgust before. Outrage is not an understatement. She's not even returning my text now. I just told you that I imagined you as a cockroach whenever we had sex. Please respond. Hmm. I'm afraid she's actually going to break up with me, and also that she's going to tell people about Agda. I don't know how I will face anyone. This is going to sound silly, but I also feel guilty about feeling shame, as if Agda will be saddened by this, even though I know she's imaginary. I just don't know what to do at this point. Uh, oh, this was so ridiculously insane, and this story was posted, I think, 10 years ago. So this was 2014, 2015. I really wish I was on Reddit at this time. But yeah, we have to read the comments. Okay, good. I am normal, says Yo Daddy's belt. Heels to Heaven says, I definitely just had the thought, oh wow, totally vanilla after all. Robert42 says, I'm not vanilla, plus not even just vanilla. I'm plain. Andrim WC Psy says, I'm going to show this post to my wife and tell it, remember this next time you think I'm a pervert. One Ariez says, this world is fucked up when he has a girlfriend and I don't. Breezy Flu says, at least we know God is not fair now. Tails Technology 4 says, the world has never been fair. Also, how the fuck can I reply to a 7-year-old? Oh, that's something. Andy Simmer says, by the way he thinks about the roach, I guess he's a sensitive guy, which is a positive trait in dating. On the other hand, he might be handsome. Also, while everybody sees a perfectly normal person, on the inside they could be this fucked up and no one would ever notice. That makes dating kind of scary. You'll never know if your partner is a sociopath or a degenerate if they never tell you. I like to think that most people don't imagine people as giant cockroaches whenever they're having sex. So, but that maybe I could be wrong on that. Plunge Cooper says, "This is the most fucked up thing I have read in ages. Well done." Ghost of Dice says, "This was absolutely the best thing I have seen on Reddit today." I won't argue with you, Ghost of Dice. This is literally prime Reddit content. I wasn't ready for when I found this story. Honestly, I wish it was longer. So yeah, fellas, ladies, and fellas, this guy's on the market. You want to find him, you want to date him, you want to be his ogtha. You could hit him up on Reddit. He's single. He has to be. This was made 10 years ago. And there's no way. Now, if that girl stayed with him, then like I said, no one can ever say that they're unworthy of a partner again unless they're like a fucking horrible person. Because this guy fucked. This guy is not a virgin. So, that's something to brighten your day. Didn't brighten mine having to read it, but, there's something you can take away. Now we're going to go to r/am I the asshole itself to kind of wind down from that. This is a post that was made 6 months ago. The subreddit has deemed this guy an asshole. Am I the asshole for wanting my friend to apologize by user Volume Junior 9044? All right, so let's get into it. I, 22 male, have a friend, 18 female, who I've been friends with since we were kids. I met her through her brother, who I played softball with in middle school. We hit it off pretty good and have both been best friends since. That is until a music festival we both went to. We go every year. Of course, I wanted to go this year, but I couldn't afford it. So she offered to pay for my ticket and was the one who drove, paid for the hotel, and all the food to and from. I think she has a crush on me, even though she said she's aromantic and asexual, and says she sees me as an older brother. But why else would she be doing all that for me? Oh, no, it's one of those fucking stories. One of those stories where the guy is like fucking completely delusional about how a girl feels with him despite her blatantly stating it. This is going to be frustrating. Let's continue. Which I kind of like her too, but might be weird since we've known each other for years and she just turned 18. Which I kind of like her too, but might be weird since we've known each other for years and she just turned 18. Why? 22 male and 18 female is not a bad age gap, but when you put in the context that they've known each other probably since he was 16 and she was 12. Why? Every layer of the story I read gets worse. The fest went fine, but I got upset a couple times, holding her drink when she went to the bathroom, watching the car while she checked into the hotel. These are not things I am responsible for. And I could tell she knew I was upset about these things, but never said sorry. She also kept mentioning that I should try and save up if I want to go again next year because she had to pay for a lot. She's a kid and you're an adult. She already paid for the trip and you're mad that you had to do a couple things in return? Oh, Jesus Christ. This guy is the asshole. I'm not even done. I understand, I guess, but why shame my financial situation when we're trying to go have fun? She's not shaming your financial situation. She's just saying that next year you need to have your own money because you can't keep paying for your ass. This made me feel kind of bitter the rest of the trip, and after I got home, I decided to give her the silent treatment. You, a 22-year-old male giving an 18-year-old female the silent treatment. You're pouting, she's the child. Wonderful. I told her I think we should stop being friends if she can't apologize, which I thought would make her realize her mistakes, but instead she just said, okay, fine then, and now wants nothing to do with me? How could she do this after being friends for so long? All because I got upset once and called her out on it. It's insane because my family and other friends think I'm in the wrong for this. How is that insane? Do you not see what you typed? I should not have to be responsible for her stuff and have the right to feel bad when I'm pretty much being called poor. She didn't call you poor. Oh my God. You may not be her age. You may not be a kid, but you sure are thinking like one. Jesus Christ. Put down the put down the pipe. Ugh. I voiced all of this to her and how she would end up getting over it and coming back around, but she got even more upset by this by calling my behavior insufferable, which it is, you're acting like a toddler, and said more hurtful things to me like she didn't know why it took her this long to cut me off. She blocked me on everything, so I made an alt to keep up with her, but she found out it was me and called me a freak. Ugh. So you're stalking this person that you've known since he was a minor. That's how you. Ugh. Ah! Come on, a little bit left. I asked one of our mutual friend to go to hers to try and talk her out of this episode, and he called me a creep too for wanting to stay friends with my best friend. Oh, you're delusional. This is making me so anxious because I have no other close friends, and she was the best person to ever come into my life. The last thing I told her is we can be friends again if she says sorry, but she doesn't want to, and I think it's outrageous. Ugh, boy. Yeah, that's insane. We have to see the comments on this. YTA by user My Path to Follow, Certified Proctologist 23. God, I hope this is fake. There's no way you can be this self-absorbed. But on the chance it's real, I'll tell you why you're the asshole. First, your reaction to your friend doing something nice for you is to be so ridiculous and self-absorbed that you think she has a crush on you. Second, your friend pays for your ticket, drives you, pays for your hotel, buys your food, and you get upset that she asks you to hold her drink, which protects her from predators, by the way, and then upset that she asked you to watch the car while she checks in. Like, seriously, she did all that for you. Helping her out is the least you can do. Man, you know how much I wish I had a friend who would take me out, pay for everything, and only ask me to do a couple things in return? She paid for everything. Everything! And all you had to do was a couple things in return. Matter of fact, I'm not even going to say I wish I had a friend like that. I do have friends like that. But to this extent, not quite. But I will say this. Never in my life a younger female paying for everything. Never in my life have I experienced. I know they exist, but she was doing something that doesn't happen normally in society anyways. You're the adult. You're the man. It's expected by society for you to be the one. For you to be the one. And instead, she, out of the kindness of her heart, said, I'll do it. And you get mad that she had to do a couple things in return. And also you get delusional about her having a crush. This is when somebody says they're asexual, you should probably just assume they're going to be asexual for the longest time. When somebody says they're aromantic, you should go ahead and assume they're going to be aromantic until the day they die. There is no such thing as a situation where your charm and your riz is just so potent that you pull somebody out of being asexual and aromantic. And also, I should mention, she's 1 year away from being a child. This is all slimy. And the comment goes on to say, how does she financially shame you, by the way? She let you know that she likely won't be able to afford it again because it was a lot this time, and let you know that's not financially shaming you. I should not have to be responsible for your stuff. My dude, oh my god, are you really 22, by the way? Are you sure you're 22? Because ain't no way you're a grown man. You are insufferable. She's right. You sound exhausting, and if I were her, I'd be running at the chance to get out of this friendship, too. You're the one who owes her an apology. You dug your own grave here. It's like, and then the watch my drink thing. You're getting mad at that when there are very easily people who could spike her drink. So, what? You wanted your friend's drink to get spiked? I guess that would have made her easier for you to take advantage of, huh? Because this all just comes off as uh uh you had a weird crush on her. You thought it was reciprocal because you have some kind of self-absorption. And whenever she's like, "Hey, can you pay for it next time?" you realize that this wasn't a fucking date. And you got in your feelings about it. OG Biscuits says, "You're the asshole. I think she has a crush on me, even though she said she's aromantic and asexual, but says she sees me as an older brother. This right here is a terrifying red flag, and I wasn't surprised that you went down the stalking route after reading it. This has got to be fake." I do hope this story is fake. Because if it's not, I hope like this story was proven to be fake at some point by a YouTuber or something. I mean, it does have a few red flags of being fake. I will say, like, for example, how he admitted to creating an alt account to stalk her. Generally, unless you're extremely criminally insane, I've never seen stuff like that before, but this could be one of those rare cases where I just found somebody extremely criminally insane on Reddit, which is not super uncommon, but not very common either. I don't know. I do hope it's fake, though. My Path to Follow says, "God, I hope it's fake. I hope, I pray, I plead. Please let this not be a real story." So yeah, yeah, this guy is the asshole. You don't think these stories are going to be that bad until you read them. But we're going to move on to the second story here. Still got a little time. Am I the asshole? Now, the subredditors deem this one not an asshole, and this is by user over-opposite 4321 5 months ago. Am I the asshole for telling my mom I won't let her turn me into my half-sister's dad because she's a cheater? My dad left my mom when I was 15 male. When I, 15 male, was 10 because my mom cheated and dad found out my half-sister, who was 2 months old at the time, wasn't his. Oh, it's getting juicy already. He did a DNA test to check, by the way. My parents fought a lot about dad leaving, and when he was doing divorce stuff, he asked to be taken off my half-sister's birth certificate, and they fought in court about my dad wanting to sever ties with my half-sister. Oh boy. Mom wanted him to take care of both of us. He only wanted me. Dad won. My parents have 50-50 custody of me. My mom doesn't know who my half-sister's dad is. I heard her admit she cheated a lot and had one-night stands with guys she didn't even know the name of. It broke my dad because I had another sister who was stillborn when I was like 6, and dad questions whether she was his or whether he grieves for another man's kid. I heard them argue about this stuff at the time. I'd rather live with my dad. I hate my mom for destroying our family. I hate her for having a kid with someone else, but I also hate her because she tries to get me to make up for my half-sister not having a dad. She's always asking me to take more of an interest in my half-sister and to not say have and to be the male role model she needs. She also told me I could talk to dad about how unfair it is that he loved her for 2 months and then abandoned her, that he was wrong. She told me he did a DNA test on me, so maybe he would have left me too, and didn't I think that would be wrong after 10 years, so why isn't it wrong that he did it to my half-sister? Before I left for my dad's house, Mom and I got into a fight, and I told her I won't let her turn me into my half-sister's dad because she's a cheater. My mom yelled at me, and she sent me dozens of texts since Friday night demanding I apologize and do better, and saying I'm taking marriage issues out on me and my half-sister. Am I the asshole? So, let me just say I am apologize. I'm so sorry that the OP had to go through that. I really am. Parents oftentimes really just do not pay attention to the amount of control they have over the lives of their kids through their stupid actions. through things like this, through having personal issues, through being a narcissist, through being all of that and having it go unchecked, you are affecting your children's lives and putting them in dilemmas more dilemmas they shouldn't have to be in. So now I have this sister that's clearly a byproduct of my mother's cheating, and I'm supposed to like embrace her and treat her a certain type of way. But I know it's a byproduct of my mother breaking my father's heart. That is quite the dilemma to be put into. So let's check out a few comments. You're not the asshole. Your mom is a piece of work, though. Try asking your dad to go back to court to ask for full custody with no visitation. You're old enough that the judge should listen to you and what you want. Good luck, OP. I agree with that. Proving parental alienation can be tough, especially for men. Oh, absolutely. And finally, they're just kind of discussing, there we go. You're not the asshole. Your mom is treating you really badly, bordering on abusive. She shouldn't be asking you to parent your sister. Having said that, you shouldn't be quick to alienate or separate yourself from your sister. But this is a moral dilemma that wouldn't have happened if she hadn't gone off and cheated, which is the problem. But I do agree here, regardless of who her father is, she is your little sister. She probably adores you. Most little girls think the world of their big brother at her age. It might not seem like it right now, especially with how your mother is treating you, but when you are both adults, a relationship with your sister might be important to both of you. Just remember she's innocent in all this. And I do agree. She's a child. She's innocent in all this. But you got to understand, knowing the impact that this type of thing had on some, it creates a weird moral dilemma. And it creates a weird thing going. It just creates too much weirdness. So that was a little bit more of a serious one. It wasn't really funny at all. But you know, sometimes that's just what happens. It ebbs and flows. We're still having fun though. Am I the asshole for throwing a child's jar of peanut butter into the river? When you're living in a van down by the river. All right, let's go. Okay, let me explain. I work in a building near a river trail. During a short lunchtime walk, I noticed a mother and her 5-ish-year-old boy near the river by some Canadian geese. Upon closer inspection, the child was dipping small stones into the peanut butter and feeding peanut butter stones to the geese. I was shocked. I turned to look at the mother, expecting her to take some corrective action. Instead, to my dismay, the mother was amused, giggling at the child as he fed peanut butter stones to the geese. I strode over to the kid, took the jar, and chucked it into the river. The mother looked at me stunned. I probably had the same look on my face because I was stunned for a different reason. The child started to bawl. Instead of speaking, I just turned around and went back to my building. Please understand that I am not a Canadian goose lover. I actually find them to be mean, and they literally poop everywhere and often, but I basically felt like I was watching a toddler version of Jeffrey Dahmer. Afterwards, I questioned myself as to whether I overreacted and owe the mother an apology. Thoughts? User I want Kenobi. You embraced your inner goose. I'm proud of you, not the asshole. Mistake maker 1234. Honk honk, motherfucker. Ayo, it me. As someone who's been chased by many Canadian geese before, I'm confirmed that this is exactly how those bastards would talk if they could. Massachusetts Mama says, I snort laughed at this. A quote from Samuel L. Goose. Toddler Jeffrey Dahmer. I agree that maybe feeding geese stones might not be a good idea. And that's about all I can say about this, because I am shocked that this moment even happened. This is why I'm glad that I don't know quite. This is why I'm glad I don't get involved in a lot of bullshit, because I could be in situations like this, where morality is just fucking questionable in general. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. And now, one more before we wrap up the show. Am I the asshole for ruining my brothers-in-law's reputation by telling the truth to my friends? The subreddit has deemed this guy not the asshole. My in-laws are currently furious with me for hurting my brother-in-law's feelings and reputation with my friend group. Recently, my single brother-in-law, Chris, 38 male, has been hitting at me to introduce him to women, and I've refused. Chris has been single for almost 3 years, and he has been having a hard time meeting women. He tried flirting with my friend, but she had been cold and non-receptive. This was my friend Grace, 35 female. Grace is not interested in him due to his inability to be faithful, and she wasn't physically attracted to him. He tried to flirtatiously engage with her during a small party my husband and I had last Saturday. My husband got a long-awaited promotion, so we had a little party. During the party, Grace had grown frustrated with his incessant flirting and at some point told him in no uncertain terms that she found him physically ugly and that his physical ugliness is only surpassed by the ugliness of his character. She told him this in private, and so no other guest had ever heard her scathing review of his personhood. Chris left the party. The following afternoon, while my husband and I were nursing a wicked hangover, my in-laws, to my surprise, called to scold me for having abused and embarrassed Chris. After a few minutes of us shouting back and forth on the phone, I reminded my husband that handling his family was his job. So while my husband argued with his parents, I reviewed our security cameras. And honey, Grace verbally tore him apart. Grace reminded him that he cheated and divorced his late ex-wife Lily while she was battling cancer, and that he then got dumped by the mistress for being a cheater as he continued to cheat on her. Grace told him that he wasn't a man of any significant value other than the few coins he had in the bank, and that there's no way in hell she'd entertain his delusions of sexual grandeur and beauty. Jesus Christ. She also said the only thing he had going for him was his overbloated job title as an executive director to a third-rate company that will probably collapse in the next 5 years. As a parting gift, she told him to consider some cosmetic work to improve his haggard appearance, and perhaps to start praying for divine intervention to fix his rotten soul, since there is no way a psychotherapist could ever come close to fixing whatever's wrong with him. My in-laws and Chris feel that I shouldn't have told my friends what Chris did, because he's now perceived by my girlfriends as a terrible person. Rightfully so! I told them he was, unfortunately, a terrible person, and people would have always found out what happened between him and the late, great Lily. I then discussed what happened with my colleague, Natasha. She said I was cruel for having told my friend group about what happened between Chris and his ex-wife, because Chris had grown a lot in the past 2 years and didn't need to be known for the worst thing he has ever done. Natasha is dating Chris's friend, so she also knows him. For your information, I've only discussed Chris's treatment of Lily with my direct friend group, and that's only 6 people, and half of them already knew as they were also friends with Lily. So it's not like I'm screaming, hear ye, in the town square. Although, to be fair, you screaming, hear ye in the town square would be justified. I hate these types of assholes. I really, really do. Not the asshole. How can telling the truth uses by user Pleasant Test 6088, certified proctologist? How can telling the truth be perceived as unfair? Chris did this to himself. It was only his behavior that is the problem. Why should you expose your friends to a potentially horrific relationship? You know your brother-in-law is a cheater, but your in-laws want you to keep that from your friends so you can continue to take advantage without consequences. I think you did the right thing. RC Dave 63 says, and this is a 38-year-old guy running to mommy and daddy crying when a lady tells him to fuck off. Oh, yeah, this guy is cringe central. He's horrible, but he's also cringe central. It's like, you want to be a womanizer, and you don't even have the stones to act like an adult when you're rejected. Crazy to me. User Florida Ing says, I agree with everyone and want to add, I'd like to buy Grace a few drinks. OP's list of her comments is awesome. Please tell Grace about Chris complaining to his mommy and getting mommy to call you so Grace can add that to her list. So yeah, no, not the asshole. Honestly, that guy deserves a sock in the mouth. But, it's like he deserves a lot worse than just having his business told to a couple people. But, yeah, no, that's the end of what I have here. So that's all for today's show. If you enjoyed this episode, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. The articles and posts that are referenced will be linked in the description, as well as all my socials. And just be sure to tune in next Wednesday at 6:30 p.m., same time, same bat channel, for another What's Going On with Dapper Don. You do not want to miss what I have in store. Peace out.